Hello everyone and welcome to What's My House For? Temperatures have dropped in Needham. The question is, have sales prices? We're going to find out this month. My name is Rob Tickton. This is Ryan McDonald. We are with Hawthorne Real Estate, a design build firm. We're also Needham Realtors. Isn't that right, Ryan?
It is. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, and Happy New Year to you, Ryan.
Thanks, Rob. That's nice.
Anytime. Today we're going to be talking about the sales data for the final month of 2016. That would be December, a reflection of the fall sales market. So without any further ado, before we get to that, I also want to tease the end of the show, much anticipated.
Best slide of the year.
Best slide of the year. We're going to break down all the sales for 2016 by elementary school. So you definitely want to stay tuned for that.
Tune in. Keep tuned in. You're already tuned in. But just continue to tune in.
Stay where you are is what we're trying to say. But in the meantime, let's start off with the sales data for the month of December, kind of on a macro level. And you see there the 24 sales. And Ryan, what do you think about those prices, the list and the sales?
24 sales, as you mentioned, the list price and sale price, they're both up from a year ago, Rob. So we were looking at December 2015. Both those numbers were under $1 million, but then when you take a closer look.
That's right, 2013 and 2014 were both very close to those numbers, so it was really 2015 that was the aberration.
Yeah, and it might have just been a December anomaly.
Maybe.
So our percentages, Rob, 27% of our list price is our average sale, and then the 93% of original list. I don't love it. We've been down in this hovering in the low 90s now for several months, so heading into 2016, that's the one thing I want to see back up near that 97, 98 number.
Yeah, well, especially hopefully we see that number go back up in the spring because, of course, that's when we see a lot more sales.
Yep.
Unlike the months of October, November, which have low sales, so let's take a look at the trailing 6 and see if it has popped a little bit for the month of December. And sure enough, we are in a little bit of an upswing, Ryan.
Yep, not bad, not bad. 24 sales this month. That's the most we've had since the close of the spring market, if you will, in September.
Okay.
So a pretty busy December. A lot of times it is. We do see that people try to get the thing closed by the end of the year.
Yeah, that's right.
For whatever reason. But so it's not uncommon to see an uptick in December.
Right. MLS, of course, had 26 sales, but we were able to sniff out a couple of condos.
Townhouses sneaking in there. This is a single-family show.
That's right. So we kicked them to the curb. The month of December, let's take a look at the last 6 years. And where does 24 fall? Is that norm? Yeah, I would say so.
It's normish.
Yeah, for sure.
Normish. Yep. Nothing to sneeze at.
No.
I think that could be said for 2016 as a whole.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not a lot of sneezing going on.
Because if you remember, we were slightly more nervous at the beginning of 2016 than we were at the beginning of 2015.
Right.
So here we are. All right. On to the slides. We're going to take a look at the individual sales. We're going to start with the lowest sales price, work our way up. Our first sale for the month of December is 349 Warren Street. That's located, Ryan, at the corner of Warren and Gayland.
It is, Rob. I thought this one went out a little high. So did the market. It sat for 121 days. It's a corner lot. It's a 4-bedroom house, but one of the bedrooms is arguably questionable. Mm-hmm. 2 bedrooms up, 2 down. But I think really this is probably a fair price. I think it may have just gone out a little bit high. If anything, maybe just put that out in the high 6s as opposed to ringing it up with that 700 and. You might have seen a little quicker of a sale. So
quick question for you, Ryan. This is a 10,000 square foot lot on the corner of Warren and Gayland, right? Yeah. If there's no house on that lot, what does it sell for?
That is a good question. It's probably pretty close to that number.
Yeah, it can't be much lower.
Maybe a little lower, but it ended up probably selling close to its land value.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a very astute observation, Rob.
Thanks, Ryan.
Well done.
Appreciate that. I'm trying to close out the year on a high note, or I guess open up the year on a high note.
Yeah.
Our next listing, I'm guessing there still might be open house signs around town for this one because it seemed like there always were throughout the week.
Walk in anytime here. It's always open.
Always. 31 High Street sells for $680. This was on and off the market quite a bit, Ryan, over the last few years.
I thought this was a good number for this property, Rob. It definitely updated its curb appeal in recent years for sure. Mm-hmm. This house is it's between Manning and Webster on High Street, right next to where those townhouses are developed.
Yes.
But I thought, getting high 6s for this was pretty good.
All right.
So, having all those open houses might have paid off.
I guess so. Walk to Needham Heights, right?
Mm-hmm.
You might be a little familiar with the next listing, Ryan. It's 163 Laurel Drive, located in the Laurels.
In the Laurels.
You have a little bit of familiarity. Why?
I've sold this house twice.
Okay.
Last time was in 2011 for $530, so a nice little 30% appreciation for this seller in 5 years.
I would say so.
It's a nice house, a little quirky layout. 2 beds on the first floor. It's a bungalow.
Yep.
I keep calling it the third floor. The second floor is just one open bedroom. So that both the last 2 sellers have used it as a master suite.
Although with no bathroom.
No bathroom. So there's a full bath on the first floor and another full bath in the basement, which is finished. But move-in condition in a great neighborhood. But it's a quirky house for sure.
We were both in that house. I would hope that you would have been in that house, and we were also both in the next house, which is located on Forest Street, 230 Forest Street. And my first impression walking through this house, Ryan, a lot of positives, good bones to this house, good layout, big lot. But what was really hurting this one was it needed a ton of work.
It needs everything.
Right, but the canvas was there in terms of the layout was already set, and I mean it was just a nicely built home. It was just really beat up.
It's one of those houses that you walk in some houses, and especially having it, as a developer, you think this house is best maybe set up to be redeveloped or torn down. Mm-hmm. As you point out, this house needed everything, but it's absolutely not a teardown. This is a renovation.
Correct, because it had 4 bedrooms upstairs with the master bath, and the laundry was on the second floor even.
Yeah, totally. It just, I mean, let's be honest, it was in the 8s, and we both walked out of there saying, this is no way this house is selling in the 8s. But at $691, there you can put. I mean, look at the one coming up in a little while that we'll touch on. But there was one that was purchased in the 8s that was just resold at 1.2. You could put $300,000-$400,000 into this house and have a great value.
That's right. I agree. I do remember that conversation actually, thinking the 8s was a little high. $691 seems about right though.
Yeah, totally.
96 Gay Street is the next listing. This one it says the property abuts wooded conservation land. Is that redundant? Wooded conservation land?
That could be a big field.
Okay, fair enough. So it's not.
And this one I think is potentially going to be redeveloped, believe it or not.
Okay.
From the look of it, it's a very nice looking house on the outside, but fairly dated, large lot, 15,000 plus square feet. It was purchased, at least by looking at the buyer agent, it might indicate it's purchased by a builder who may redevelop this property.
And that's in the Newman School District.
And it's priced in that land value neighborhood.
Gotcha. As is the next listing that we're going to go to, 19 Bird Street. Similarly, this one was purchased by somebody who is going to redevelop, tear this house down, actually
Correct.
build new. Big lot though, Ryan.
Yeah, 16,000 square feet, Rob.
Yeah. But 3 houses away from Greendale.
Yeah, pretty close. It's on the Greendale side of Bird Street, yes. And it does get, so there's a decent Broadmeadow School traffic flow to Bird Street that you'll have to contend with.
Okay, over to the woods we go. That would be Olin Woods, 29 Brewster Drive. We walked through this one, correct?
Yeah.
If memory serves. And 2,200 square feet, $845. That looks like a good sales price to me.
Yeah, and it's on a barbell street, Rob.
Excuse me?
A barbell street.
What is it, 2 cul-de-sacs?
Yes.
Oh, not bad. You make that up?
I did.
I like it.
All right, let's keep using it.
Okay. I mean, we'll keep using it. How many barbell streets are there?
Not many, but when one comes up, you'll hear about it.
I mean, I think so basically when we talk about Brewster going forward. Okay, not bad. Move-in condition. It's interesting to compare. It sells for $845, Ryan, 2,200 square feet, okay? Let's slide over to the next slide, and it's 56 Prospect Street. Size-wise, very close.
Very close.
But sells for $67,000 more than 29 Brewster. Which sale do you like better?
I like Brewster better, to be quite honest with you. I like the Olin Woods neighborhood. Mm-hmm. I like the cul-de-sac, which we know.
Yep.
And I think that Prospect, 8,700 square foot lot.
Right.
It had a nice, master suite. I really like the kind of the side entrance to the mudroom there. It was a nice house. The listing agent, interestingly, referred to it as an unassuming house, as opposed to a
assuming house
or a pretentious house.
Right.
But so I didn't really know what you meant by that. But I would for the money I would go to Brewster.
Right. It was close for me, with the one exception that 56 Prospect did not have a garage, which to me pushed me for sure over to 29 Brewster.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we both walked through Prospect and really liked it. I mean, it was finished nicely. It was basically move-in condition. Mm-hmm. I think it was finished a little more nicely than Brewster. But
yes, agreed.
But 912 is a good number from the seller's perspective.
I can probably get Brewster almost to Prospect's status with the spread and the purchase price.
Yeah.
You could put that money right into it, and you're even Brewster.
Yeah, good point. I'm not quite sure what you said, but 324 Country Way. Just joking. Of course, 324 Country Way. This is listed on MLS as a Cape Colonial, but we affectionately refer to that as, Ryan?
A Caplonial.
A Caplonial. So tell us about this Caplonial.
This Caplonial is going to be redeveloped, Rob.
Yeah, well, it's a nice area, right?
Yeah, it's an acre lot. It's in a neighborhood in Country Way that has had a lot of redevelopment, some large houses, some very nice houses. And this is priced it was priced to be competitive. It was competitive. They got multiple offers. So there's a lot you can do here. If you wanted to add on to this Caplonial, you certainly could. But
sure.
I think it's going to be redeveloped.
Yeah, it looks a little more capey than colonially.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
But it's big. The next listing.
It looked like a Capranch.
That's not bad. God, you're zipping them today.
Boy, the new year.
Capranch.
Full of energy.
I like that. It almost sounds like a salad dressing. 50 Lehigh Road is the next listing. This one is, so it's in Needham. Right? But it has a Wellesley mailing address.
Not only that.
And you have to go through Wellesley to get there. Your next door neighbor lives in Wellesley.
Rob, it has a Wellesley mailing address. You're on Wellesley Water and Sewer, and your electric bill is coming from the Wellesley Electrical Company.
I mean,
So I ask you, which part of this house is in Needham?
So is it possible that? So I think the property line literally runs in between this house and the house next door.
The golden rule there is
Where your head rests?
Yeah.
Right, but this. So first of all, what Ryan's talking about is if you have a property line that runs through a house, typically speaking, the way the laws are written, in not all towns but some, is that wherever your child's head rests when he or she sleeps, that's the school district to which they go to. However, this one, the school...
Town line?
Yeah, I guess.
Why?
I'm going to think of that later. The town line goes in between that house and the next door.
Okay.
So is it possible you can go to a Wellesley school because there's so many Wellesley things going on here?
Well, is this on us? I mean, we basically don't allow townhouses here. Should we not allow Wellesley houses either?
I don't know. It's just so confusing.
I mean, we're not doing Natick in here. Why do we have a Wellesley house in here?
I mean, you're nervous when a new postal worker comes and you work
Right.
and you live in this house.
Well, you're panicking. You don't know whether you're going to get your mail or not, or which anything to go to, really.
Yeah.
Can you get library card from the Wellesley and the Needham Library?
I don't know. I don't know.
So many questions.
Yeah, I know. We need to get these people on the show. Okay. 9 Rosegate Road, we know is in Needham for sure. There's no question about this one.
No question, although it is close to Newton.
It has a lot of easements. It's off Central. Did you notice that? 3 easements,
Right.
2 access easement and a drainage easement. What else can you tell me about this listing?
It's got solar. The home solar array provides low-cost green energy year-round.
Okay. That's good. Anything else?
Nope.
All right.
Yeah, the public record, the square footage, little quirky. It has some basement in there, so you gotta be careful.
Okay.
Sold in 2012 for $837.
Very good.
$837, 2012.
Yeah, wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that sold recently and resold, our next listing fits that bill, 24 Paul Revere Road.
Yeah, also in 2012.
Right, and so actually I went to the archives, Ryan, and watched our show from July of 2012 to see what we had to say about the listing
Was there any mention of Jacoby Ellsworth?
No.
Ellsbury.
No, there was not. But in fact, there was very little, inside joke, there was very little that was worth mentioning.
Okay.
Except for we had horrendous looking graphs back then. I don't know if you remember. And when it sold in 2012, it sold for $879. It was listed for $879. I said it probably should have been listed for $899.
Okay.
So I don't know. But anyway, it sells for It sells in 2016 for $1,035,000. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's $387 per square foot. And the reason I bring this up is our next listing is also on Paul Revere Road.
Yeah.
And while 24 Paul Revere sells for $387 per square foot, the next listing, 185 Paul Revere, sells for $299 per square foot, albeit bigger house.
Yeah, it's a bigger house. I mean,
and a little bit of a better spot on Paul Revere.
Agreed. And those are the 2 points, because we looked at these when they were on the market. Our office had the 24 Paul Revere listing, and wondering, sort of what was keeping it there, because we thought it was priced pretty well. And then looking at 185 Paul Revere, comes on lower, goes off quickly. It's a bigger house, and I think that ultimately was the driving force. And it's also, as you mentioned, it's up the hill on a flatter part of Paul Revere.
Right.
So I mean, those were the two main factors there, and I think in the price difference on these two sales. 185 Paul Revere, Rob, convenient access to everywhere / everything. How do you feel about that?
it's just vague enough that you can get away with it.
Well, I mean, but it's sort of a stretch for property that's outside the walk to town radius.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. Yeah. Well, that's a 1 mile radius, of course.
Yeah.
That was also established in 2016.
Right.
Okay, noted. Next listing, 40 Burnside Road. And you want to talk about big lots?
Yeah. Imagine if this lot was about 834 square feet bigger.
Yeah.
You'd have two nice sized lots there. This one, bought in 2015, in December 2015 for 1.04.
Yep.
So usually when you turn something around that in a year like that, you can expect to take a bit of a bath. But this seller did fine. I mean, they're certainly going to have fees and whatnot, but all things considered, to sell a house a year later, they didn't do poorly.
Yeah, it's so there's 4 bedrooms on the second floor in that house with 1 bath, and then on the third floor is the master suite.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that from the previous year.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a big lot.
You can get clobbered trying to sell a house within 12 months of having purchased it.
Yeah, and we've seen it.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
Absolutely. Okay, here we go. Next listing is 29 Carlton Drive, and
well, there you have it.
Well, there you have it. So, I felt pretty strong about this one, Ryan.
All right.
As the deal of the month. It was on the market in February of 2017. That's when it came on the market, which, as we've said multiple times on this show.
February 2016.
Excuse me. What did I say? 17?
Yeah. Well.
Wow, I'm already jumping ahead. Comes on the market February 2016, and as we've talked about, that's the perfect time really to come on the market. February, March, you want to be early spring. The problem was it came on at a price that was way too high. It ended up getting reduced twice over the course of the spring, the summer, into the fall. So now you're looking at September, and it's on the market at that point for 148, and then it goes under agreement and it sells for 125, which is a
crazy.
huge reduction from 148.
And from 175.
And well, obviously, but the point is, this thing goes on the market in the spring for 149, and I think it's selling for considerably more than 125.
Probably close to asking.
It's a great neighborhood. It's a really big lot. It's over an acre. It's a ton of space. It needed some freshening up a little bit. But by and large, sign me up for 125 at 29 Carlton Drive.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%.
Okay. Next listing, Ryan, before you say anything, I just want to say absolutely exquisite, this next listing. And as you probably may know, I'm not necessarily talking about the house itself.
The write-up.
For the next listing, I'm talking about the write-up.
That's awesome.
As we look at 45 Rivard Road,
I would almost encourage everybody to on there independently try to track this listing down just to read it.
Just listen. They don't have to because I've chosen a verse that I think really summarizes how wonderfully written this was. Here we go, and I quote, "Ever heard opportunity knock? Well, if you haven't, now you can say you know what it looks like because it looks exactly like 45 Rivard Road. This is that special gift that you asked the real estate gods for so long ago, and when it didn't happen, you stopped believing. Well, the real estate gods listened and have given you this."
Yeah, it's dynamite.
That's wonderful.
I mean, you can't fault the effort there. It's eye catching. Whether it brought people to the door, and who knows? I mean, it didn't bring people to the door at or near asking price, but it got the sale done, and it really caught our eye.
Absolutely.
So they got that going for
The listing agent's in the wrong business. They should be at least working for Hallmark.
Yeah, it was just delightful.
Wonderful. Delightful. 14 Blacksmith Drive is the next. This is a house that was...
This is what I was talking about.
Oh, right. It was purchased for $815,000 in July.
Yeah, so this is like what you can do with Forest, right? They didn't
exactly.
They didn't expand it. It says completely renovated. That's an interior gut job.
Right.
They made it look nice on the outside, and then bingo bango, you're back on the market in 5 months, and there you have it.
Right, but the difference is at this one it was done for you. Right, like this is being sold.
Yeah.
You already have the builder and everything lined up.
Sure.
Whereas that one you have to buy and kind of do it on your own.
Well, okay.
Sort of.
Right.
No?
Well, for the person who purchased Blacksmith back earlier in the year, or in December of 2015, they would be the person that would be buying Forest now.
Okay, right. Right, okay. I think it's a minor point.
Yeah.
I'm just basically saying...
Definitely worth making, though.
Okay, right. I'm saying if you have 1, 2
Let's
to...
move on.
Okay, fine. Next up is 29 Livingston Circle. This is, we see a lot of action in Livingston Circle, don't we?
Sure we do. This one, it was custom built. This is one of these rare occasions where, like, whenever you're building a house, especially when you're doing a custom build, you're always saying to the homeowner, the end user, you know, when you're doing a custom build it to suit you.
Yep.
Right? Don't necessarily worry about resale or, you know, what somebody else might want in this house in the future if you were to try to sell it. This is one of those cases where I think it kind of came back to bite them. So this one was built with a first floor master. It had the kind of the laundry room in a strange place on the first floor in the mud room. You know, things that you don't typically see, but when this house was being custom built, that's how this customer wanted it.
Yeah, right.
And I think that might have ended up hurting it in resale. Not enough to change my opinion that when you do a custom build, you do it the way you want it.
Yep.
But this is sort of the exception to that rule. And you know, I think it's comparative to the other houses on Livingston Circle. It's a small lot. It's only 10,000 and change, but you know, it still sells for almost $1.3 million.
Yeah, I know. And I was going to say, I think that's a good price for the buyer, 129. 10,000 square foot lot still nothing to sneeze at, and it's a lot of space, 4,600 square feet. We're on to new construction.
Yep.
And it's weird that you brought up laundry on the last listing, because in this next listing sheet, it said the laundry person in the family will love the space and cabinetry.
Okay.
For 63 Damon Road.
Good.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it's a big laundry room in this one.
Yeah.
Sells for 1,385.
Builder paid $605 for the lot.
Yeah, Damon has been seeing a little bit of action, I would say.
That's like a third new construction on Damon in the last year or so.
Yeah, all right. Staying with the theme of new construction, we're going to head over to 165 Meadowbrook Road. This one sells for 1,385. Any thoughts on 165 Meadowbrook Road?
Nope.
Nothing?
Well, I mean...
Yeah, was this where the fire was? Is this the house?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, so there was a fire before this house was
Yeah, this
built
house
on.
is not currently on fire.
No, it's not. But the house previously on that lot was.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
And the run of new construction continues onto our next listing. And that one is 99 Wellesley Avenue. This one was across the street from, or is across the street from St. Mary's Cemetery.
Correct.
And builder paid for this one $500,000, which is a pretty good price.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And can you cut through the backyard and get to Elliott School from here, or is there something impeding your progress?
I believe there's something impeding.
I mean, it's definitely wooded, but I think you might be able to meander through the woods and get to Elliott. But that's unconfirmed.
We'll have to look into that.
Yeah, there's a lot of homework after this one.
Yeah, I know. Enough with the assignments. Next up is your moment to shine, Ryan. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Okay, let's do it then. It's your, or I should say it's 94 Oxbow Road.
Yeah, this is my deal of the month, Rob, for the buyer. And just, I mean, not because it's such a great deal, like this house is a 1.8 house and they get it for 1.45. I just thought that it's a lot of space, it's well done, and you're getting a lot for your money. You're getting a really nice pool area, a very nice master suite. In fact, two master suites if you want to be technical. It's over an acre. The kitchen's been redone. It's move-in condition. It's in that Oxbow neighborhood, which is kind of like a Livingston Circle. You know, it's in the outskirts, but it's a nice little spot that I think people really enjoy living. Mm-hmm. I think this person got an outskirts discount here.
Okay.
You know, I think this house, sort of closer to Needham proper, is well over 1.45.
And you could probably make the argument about the outskirts discount on the next listing as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But not as much.
Not as much. There's some other things contributing to that one, but this one definitely, I think for 1.45, this is a good price for this house for the buyer. I really liked it.
Okay, very good. Another deal of the month for the buyer for you.
Yeah.
Next up, we're going to stay right on Oxbow,
Right.
170 Oxbow, but there's no red writing on this one, Ryan. Why is that?
I mean, it went out for 2.3, and you could say it's low-hanging fruit. There's a $700,000 spread between the original list and the sale price, so there's an implied discount. But I think, you know, this house is 1.6. I mean, that's still a lot of money. It's a huge house. It's 9,300 square feet, basically.
Yep.
But it needs a lot of work. And it has a tennis court and a pool, and they didn't give you that like I'm gonna go comfortably sit in my backyard at the tennis court and the pool. It looked like you're going to a community pool. It was very concrete. And dated and stuff. I just think for this amount of money, you're still gonna put some more into this house. So I didn't think it was a deal of the month for the buyer.
Okay, good enough. 36 Tudor Road is our big seller. It's the final sale for the month of December. And how about that days on market? Pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. Builder paid $725 for that lot.
Okay, anyway, now it's time. Admittedly, you and I are fairly fascinated with this next slide.
Yeah.
Maybe more than most, but maybe not.
How much time do we have?
We have 4 minutes. So what we're going to do is take a look at this slide, and we're going to go very slowly so everybody has a chance to digest it.
Okay.
It's the sales by school district for the year 2016. So everybody, if you want to hit your pause button and soak that in, go ahead. But we're going to talk you through it a little bit here. Those are the 5 elementary schools, and we are going to start with homes sold. Ryan, no surprises there that the most homes were sold in the Newman School District.
No, I mean, year over year, it's always Newman. The surprise was the jump from 64 sales in Broadmeadow last year to 80 this year. So that's a big spread. The total sales last year was 336, and we're only down 7 sales to 329. The mix is totally different.
Right,
though.
yeah, because Broadmeadow's up and Hillside is down.
Yeah, Hillside and Elliott basically traded 10 sales.
I'm sorry, Hillside is up, excuse me.
Yeah. Mitchell's up 9, Newman's down 14, and Broadmeadow's up 16.
Yep.
So but otherwise the total is almost the same.
Right, and Newman is still dominating in terms of size.
Yeah, and Newman, geographically speaking, has the most opportunities to sell.
Right, okay, so sales price,
Look at Newman.
I know, that's crazy.
Good gosh. But it's again, very, very constant over 2015. Total, we're at, just under 1.04 million. Last year, it was just over a million. So 2016 is better across the board than 2015.
Which is, we didn't see that coming.
We didn't see it coming. The only thing that's down is total number of sales, but it's only down 2%.
Yep.
But everything else is up in 16 over 15. The other one that jumped off the page for me, Rob, is look at the price per square foot in Broadmeadow.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's high.
Yeah, so this was what this tells me is 2016 was a great year overall. It was a great year to be a seller in Broadmeadow and in Newman.
Yeah.
And also Mitchell now over $1 million for its average sale price. That's a first for Mitchell.
That's right, yep.
Broadmeadow has been over $1 million. In fact, they were last year. Newman is consistently over $1 million.
Right.
So no surprise there.
I'm surprised that Mitchell, so days on market is pretty consistent, I would say, across the board for the most part. Newman's a little bit high, but that would be expected with bigger houses. They take a little bit longer to turn. But on that last average, or the square footage, I found it to be very surprising that Mitchell was number 2 there in terms of square footage, because I just feel like we see a lot of kind of smaller homes for high dollars per square foot turning over in that school.
Yeah, but look at Mitchell's average square foot now. It's over 3,000,
right.
Whereas in the past it's been on the lower end. Every year it seems like Mitchell's second in price per square foot. They were last year. They were 368 last year. Remember, Hillside was 380 last year.
That's right, I know. Mitchell had the highest dollars per square foot in 2014.
In 2014, you're right.
Yeah.
But the days on market, that's seeing all those districts in the 30s.
Yep.
That's tremendous.
Okay. Yeah. It's if anybody wants to see that, I believe that's going to be on our blog. Correct?
Yeah, we'll make that slide available to the general public.
All right. Very good. Quickly, market snapshot. Let's take a look how things appear as we start the new year, and everything looks pretty consistent, I would say, at least in terms of listings to last year.
Yeah, the big number is the average listing price of 1.6. So right now, our mix on the market right now is top heavy.
Yeah.
And it's up over $100,000 from last year.
Is that a reason for alarm?
I don't know if it's a reason for
or is
alarm.
it an indicator of where this market's going?
I think it's just that it's these high-end houses take longer to sell. I don't think it says anything about what the demand's going to be like for homes priced in the 7s, 8s, 9s, low millions.
No.
I think those, come spring, are still going to have that same demand that we've seen the past few years.
Yeah, there's just more inventory of higher priced homes.
Yeah, I think if you're dipping into the new construction as a developer, maybe you might consider look at all the inventory that's out there before you take a chance on something. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that really is going to impact the sort of turnkey homes that we're seeing in the sweet spot market.
Very good. All right, let's just, before we say a quick goodbye, Ryan, if anybody wants to reach out to us, if they are thinking about buying, selling their home, or for any other reason, how would they do that?
You can always call us. Our office is always open, most of the time. Our number is 781-707-6564. You can also email us at rob.ryan@hawthornre.com. And you can follow us on Twitter. That handle is Hawthorne_WMHB. W.
Nice use of the word handle. That'll do it for the first episode of 2017. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We will see you again very soon.
Happy New Year.